be the first steps and first things that they should be thinking about when it comes to avoiding getting a ticket?
Well, probably the first thing you want to do is just take a deep breath and be calm, because you need your mind to be working as clearly as possible. Because everything you say, as they say on TV, everything you say and everything you do can and will be used against you in court. So you have to be careful from the beginning. And so the only thing you really have to do, the only thing the law requires you to do really, is to hand over your driver's license, identify yourself. The rest of the actions and questions that the police officer asks you, you can politely decline to go through with. Now, if he asks you to step out of the car, you have to step out of the car. You can't actively resist in that fashion. But he's going to ask you how much you had to drink. He's going to start asking you questions of that nature, and you can simply say, look, I would prefer not to answer any questions on advice of a friend of mine who's a lawyer. That's a simple thing to say. And you don't have to answer their questions. You really don't. And they're going to ask you if you will do some field sobriety tests, if you will stand on one leg or walk a line, or they're going to do what's called the horizontal gaze nystagmus, where they hold their finger or something up in front of your eyes and have you track it with your eyes. They're not looking to see if you can indeed follow that stylus. They're looking at what they call an involuntary jerking of your eye. And there are clues that they look for that they would then come into court and testify are indicative of you being impaired. And so it seems like an innocent enough test. And a lot of people say, oh, I nailed that one. I followed his fingers. And no, that's not what he's looking for. And when we get into court, he's not going to say you nailed it. So it's best just to politely decline to do those, because that's a rational thing to do. He will ask you if you will blow on a handheld portable breath test, which is not admissible. The results of that are not admissible in court. So you can do that one or not do that one. If you think you're borderline, if you think you might blow under, if you're a fairly low amount to drink, then there's not really any negative to blowing the portable breath test on the scene, unless you're under 21 years of age, because then any reading is going to be able to be used against you, a positive or negative result. They just can't use the number. So in that sense, you might do that. And if it's a wise veteran cop who, when you blow a .08 or .09, he knows you're borderline and he may let you go. He may have you cost one. So there's no negative to blowing that. When you hear people talking about being penalized for refusing to provide a breath sample, that's later. That's if you're arrested and taken to the jail, then that is an evidentiary test. It can be used against you, and you do have the right to refuse that, but there's some other more complicated factors to take into account on that.